guys, today we're going to be getting started on a new project that I'm calling the iMac project. It's actually not really a new project, it's one of my oldest projects still on the bench. If you've been following my blog for a while, you'll know that we took apart an old iMac, one of the old pretty ones. Salvaged its guts, and I've been waiting for the chance to use it in an actual project. So we're going to be doing that today. But yeah, I've been working on this one for a million years now. You can check out the original link to the iMac page on my blog. I'll put a card in the corner here, link in the description as well, so you can check out that original project. This is a little weird of an introduction. I've actually already done all the work, and I've had to re-record the intro because I originally started out to do this as a project with the Squish, and she was extremely uncooperative, and there was nearly no usable footage from the first take of this. So yeah. So this next part's a little weird because it's basically me going through a lot of things that you aren't able to hear because the Squish was being a little wild, and yeah, I had to just time lapse through all of it. So it's a weird time lapse here, but it's just basically me doing a disassembly and getting to a stopping place with that, and then we'll pick it back up after that. So here you go. So I made a quick discovery. So these posts on here, I thought they might have screwed in, but they don't. They actually are little studs, the hex on the back to keep them going through, and they're just pressed through the board. So I figured out a cool way to get them out. So I thought I would show you guys. All right. So what I figured out was we can take a socket that's bigger than these, put it underneath, put the stud directly over it, and then you grab the hammer and beat it back through the other side. We knock some stuff off the table, and then it just kind of comes through the back side, and we'll grab the pliers and get that the rest of the way off. So obviously I've gotten a lot done since the last time I had the camera on. I've just been kind of piecing this together over the course of the last day or two. It's kind of hard to actually get anything recorded with the Squish here because she's so hyper, I guess is the word. But anyway, we have hooked up the motherboard into the iMac case. It does fit quite nicely. We've drilled some holes, used some PC standoffs, and screwed those on. There are a couple places I had to add some cushion to the bottom to make it fit. We've also reinstalled the old CPU heatsink fans on here and got that going. I'm using this screwdriver to temporarily disable this built-in fan because it's very, very, very loud. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But it cools just fine with these guys on it, so I haven't figured out how I'm going to disable that permanently yet, but that's just keeping my sanity for now. The other thing we've done was we've done a little wiring here. This is actually the power lead coming off to go to the switch we've been using, which we will be changing out for the iMac's built-in power switch. That's actually probably what we're going to do next today. We've also gotten these speakers hooked up, these built-in speakers. I took the laptop's original speaker bar. We just trimmed the wires off, soldered the proper wires up here. We do have proper left and right channel audio in Windows now. It works fine. So that's one thing down. But we got a lot of work to do here still, so I just want to show you guys what I've done since I've been on here last, and we'll get back to it. Alright, so the next thing on the agenda is we get this power switch wired up, which I haven't completely figured out how to do that yet. So we'll just kind of go through that now. So I know it goes to this group of 4 wires here. Red, green, blue, red, green, black, white. And I think we can get to the bottom of this and take this board off. We can easily see which wire goes where. So let's see if we can do that. But we can't actually sit it down on the back side because of the motherboard up there. Do you still call it a motherboard when there's only one board for a laptop? Alright, so got an LED and a switch. This is super basic. Huh. It's a 2-color LED. I can't tell, but it looks like this middle pin of the LED is connected to the second pin of the switch. So let's grab the meter and see if that's true. The meter's dead. I forgot to turn the meter off last time we were here, so it's dead. And it takes a 9-volt, and I have no 9 volts. And my power supply doesn't do 9 volt. So we will just grab a microscope and keep looking. So it looks like they're using the power switch as a ground, and the LED ground through that same prong. So the power switch on this actually shorts to ground, as opposed to just closing itself. That could be an issue. I don't remember how the laptop does it, so we will have to take this back off and look at how that works a little bit closer. This switch also closes to ground, so that's fine. There's an LED here too. The LED goes through quite a bit of circuitry before it goes to ground, so that doesn't quite work. So that's fine hooking it to ground. We're going to have to get the meter working before we can do this. So we need to... I guess I can do it manually, but good lord. Alright, I'm going to go see if I can find a 9 volt so we can get the meter working to get through this more easily. Because that's going to be a pain to have to figure out which one of these wires is ground without just cutting the wires and stranding them out and then retwisting them back. Which, if I can't find a battery, is what we're going to do. I just don't want to do that. So, yeah. So just for the record, I'm going to file this under things that I am doing that you should never do ever under any circumstances ever. We are using a wall adapter to go to 9 volts to jumpers to the 9 volt connector on my meter, but it's working now, so woo. Alright, so we need to figure out is which of these wires we need to cut this off anyway, because we can't use the switch, so just give it a good leeway. So it's this wire is ground, just to verify. Okay. So since the wires aren't marked, and we're going to be moving these around a lot before we actually do anything with them, we're just going to take a Sharpie. I'm going to mark it. This guy. This guy. Now we can put the rest of this back together. Also, we can unplug this before something catches on fire. Safety. I didn't realize you couldn't see any of that now. I think I'm probably the worst YouTuber. Alright, so let's get the meter out of the way, reattach this board, and soldering iron's not warmed up. BRB. Alright, so it looks like our power button is the white and black wires. So put on some heat shrink. I always forget the heat shrink. We'll twist those up nicely, and then we'll solder them together. I know that's not the technically correct way to do this, but when you're soldering together 2 wires that have never had solder on them, I find this holds structurally a bit better than your traditional just lay the wires on top of each other, and after you've... I like it better than the traditional 10 both wires, hold them together very gently. It works better for me because I have a really hard time holding things still for that long. This way they hold themselves still, and the solder still flows nicely into them. Still does a great job. So technically is not as good of a solder. If you're looking at like an actual transfer of electrons perspective, but for what we're doing, it's not bad. Alright, soldering is nice and hot. Can you see what I'm doing at all? Probably not. Alright, so we're working on this guy here. I really need to get a new soldering iron tip, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I actually need to buy more solder too, so I might just buy another one of these cheap ones from Walmart, because it comes with a couple of tips, a new iron, and solder for like 10 bucks. There we are. And it's not the best job, but I am also trying to heat shrink everything for this project too. And I've already missed one over here. I had to go back and throw some electrical over that, but I got the other three. That's something. And then we're just gonna do this the easy way because I don't have a heat gun either. Again, this is not the way you should do this, but it's the way we're gonna do it. One of the keys when you're doing this with a lighter is to keep the flame moving. If you keep it in one spot at all for too long, you'll set it on fire. And now our button here should turn the system on. So let's see if that actually does what it's supposed to. And I'll actually stick the button back on and we'll do a test after I do that. Alright, so we're going to find out if this guy will turn on the system. I forgot it's not plugged in. I also forgot that I don't have any video output on this because I had to borrow the HDMI cable for something else. So we'll see if this fan spin up. That'll tell us whether it works or not. That's not good. So I need to find a better way to power these fans, but good God, this fan is loud. So to give you an idea of how loud this fan is, you can hear it now, right? Both these other fans running at their full speeds at this voltage, and it's that loud. It's ridiculous. And that fan's so messed up. It's so loud. Anyway, so that did work. Force the power off here. Fantastic. We got a button. That covers our audio, power buttons. I'll figure out what to do with this LED later. It looks like we've got a red and green, which when you combine makes yellow. So we've got 3 color options there. I don't remember how the original behaves, so I don't know what to do with that. So I'm not sure what to do there. I might just wire up a cable so if it's on, the light's on, or something like that. But I haven't figured out where to pull those voltages from yet, or what voltage it needs. I'm missing a lot of variables for that, so we'll figure that out later. Not important. You need to plug this audio back in while I'm still thinking about it though. So the next step is to figure out how we're getting video out of this thing. And I don't honestly remember where the video came out originally. I think it was under here somewhere. The reason I'm looking at that is because I've got this guy, which has a nice 4x3 display, which looks like it's the same size as our iMac panel. So the idea is we're going to salvage this panel, and if I could figure out how the original video came out of this thing, I was going to see if we could hook it up with the factory connections and just go one directly in the other, but I don't think that's going to work. So my other option is to get a panel driver board for this, and we'll power it through probably HDMI, but that's a whole other animal. So the next part of this will be tear down this guy to see what we're working with, but that's not going to be today. That'll be in the next video in the series. So I know I didn't do a lot of actual work on camera this one, I'm sorry for that, but I hope you guys still like it. If you do, hit that thumbs up button, Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on with this channel. Mostly with finishing this project up. I say finishing up, getting started on this project. There's so much to do. This is going to be an ongoing project. It's going to take a while. So, but anyway, that's it for now. I'll see you next one.